Thank you for joining me for practice. Please like the video and subscribe to our channel. And in the description is a link to my Patreon account. If you'd like to offer a donation for these classes, that's greatly appreciated. Namaste. Move the flesh from the sit bones. Sit tall. Place the hands comfortably in the lap and close your eyes. And just take a moment to settle in. Feel a stillness and a calmness that comes in, that shifts us from our typical state of being, and come back into that present moment awareness. And from this place here, begin to watch the rise and fall of the abdomen. Beginning just with that belly breathing to anchor us into the body, shifting out of the mind. So belly swells on inhalation, and navel draws back to spine on exhalation. And try to make this belly breathing as smooth as possible. And when you get the sense or the feeling that you're anchored now into the experience of the body, we'll deepen the breath by breathing in through the nostrils and fill chest first, then rib cage, then belly. And on the exhalation, belly draws in and up, rib cage draws closer together, chest softens, breath leaves the nostrils. And we'll allow the inhalation to be the same length as the exhalation. So Samavriti. If you haven't already, you can add in the ujjayi sound, ocean wave or whisper type sound to the breath. And so this morning we're going to be working with freeing up the neck, upper back, shoulder area, creating some space there. And recognizing that a lot of these tensions that we carry in the neck and shoulders come from an overactive nervous system. And so as we create some calm and peace in this area of the body and in the mind, restructure everything back into its normal state of health and well-being. So one more full breath here. And then bring your hands together in front of your heart, bow your head to your hands, and set that as your intention for the practice. And if there's anything else going on in your life that you can recognize that disturbs your peace, well-being, or keeps you stuck in that fight or flight response, please ask for some resolution around that. A way to resolve it, either through letting it go, or through a deeper level of acceptance, whatever it might be. And then place all of this here in the heart, surrounding it with unconditional love. We'll begin with the chant of Om 3 times. Deep inhale in. Long exhale out. Deep inhale in. And slowly lower your chin to your chest. Bring your hands to your knees. Gently open your eyes, but keep a soft gaze. And tilt your right ear to your right shoulder. And we're just going to stay here for a breath or two, letting the right ear grow heavy towards that right shoulder. Make sure the heart is open, sternum is lifted, and shoulders are soft. Now tilt your left ear to your left shoulder. Stay there for a few moments. Grow particularly heavy through the right shoulder. And repeat it again. Tilt the right ear to the right shoulder. Stay here for a few breaths. Notice if it's a little easier this second time. And then left ear to left shoulder. And then head back to neutral. Look over your right shoulder. Twist the neck to the right. Stay for an extra breath. Return to center. Twist your head to the left. Looking over your left shoulder. Feel almost like you're squeezing that tension out of the neck. Return to center, do it again. Twist to the right. Maybe there's a little more freedom there now. Keep the heart open. Twist to the left. Come back to neutral. Draw your chin to your chest for a moment. Feel that release along the back of the spine. Now lift the head and look up and keep about 2 fingers with space below the base of the skull. Lift the sternum higher. Release the shoulders down the back. Do it again. Bring your head to neutral and now lower your chin to your chest. And just the weight of the head is enough to do the stretching. And then come back to center and lift the chin. Keep about that 2 fingers width space in the base of the skull. So you're creating length as well as opening up the front. Lift the chin a little higher. And then come back to center. Now tilt your right ear to your right shoulder again, and this time take your right arm up and hold on to the outside of your left jaw. And just the weight of the arm will be enough to stretch it. You don't have to push down in any way, but do feel that you allow a little extra pressure to come in, and then relax your left shoulder a little more. So now we're taking that same stretch we did a moment ago, just a little deeper. And then push the head back to neutral. And switch. Left ear to left shoulder. Take the left arm up and around, grabbing onto the right jaw. Relax your right shoulder away from your ear. Spine stays tall. Feel as if the waist were lengthening a little bit. So maintaining height through the spine is key to these stretches, and relax your right shoulder even more. Breathe right into the areas of sensation. And then slowly release the arm, push the head back to neutral. Take a moment, let it settle. Once again, you're going to twist and look over your right shoulder and see if it's a little bit more spacious, a little bit warmer. Come back to center, twist over your left shoulder. Come back to center. Now you're going to take your hands and spread your palms so they're making like an L shape with your with your thumb and your fingers. And then you're going to take the thumbs near the front of the throat, and the hands are going to cup and hold on to the back of the skull. And you're going to just give a gentle lift up to create a little bit of traction there for the spine. And while you're pulling up through the back of the neck, begin to start to look up. So this is a great stretch to do, not only to create a little bit more of that curve in the back of the neck, but also to free up the laterals and to open up the pectoralis major muscles in the front of the body. These muscles tend to cause that rounding of the upper back, which then sends the head forward as the brain is seeking, again, that homeostasis or that equanimity. So just a little bit more. So you're pulling up and leaning back slightly at the same time. Breathe here. One more. And then head back to neutral. We're going to do one more with the neck. We're going to reach the hands around, interlace the fingers into yoga mudra, and pull the shoulder heads away from the ears. Lift the sternum. Really open up the heart. Send that chest forward. And now take those hands to the right waist. Pull your right elbow back and tilt your right ear to your right shoulder. So same stretch we were doing before, but now we're going just a little deeper here into opening of the top of the shoulder head. Breathe into the neck. And you can kind of feel how these muscle groups are all connected. That which is in the front of the chest, the shoulder, the upper back, and the neck, all connected together. And then return back to neutral. Pull the knuckles back again. Stretch out those pec major, minor muscles. And then we're going to pull the hands to the left waist, pull the left elbow back, and do the same thing on this side. Now left ear to left shoulder. It really gives us a good sense of where we're holding our tension. Keep drawing that left elbow back a little bit more. One more breath. And then slowly release, come back to neutral. We're going to pull the knuckles back behind us one more time. Open up, stretch. And then fold, pull the navel in, let the head and neck release. Knuckles reach as high away as we can. And then a little bit of swing from side to side. So lift one shoulder, sway through the waist, lift the other shoulder, and just go back and forth. Sometimes this repetitive movement really helps to release tension. And then stay in the center, release the hands, walk them forward, let the head and neck release. Pushing into the palms, draw the weight back into the lower back, back into the sacrum. Breathe into your kidneys, into the upper middle back. And then walk to the right, square your chest to your thigh, stretch here. And then walk to the left, do the same thing, stay low. Press the right hip down, really feel the lateral opening. Send your breath into any of those sensitive areas. Contract your abdomen on exhalation to support the lower back. And now walk your left hand back a little bit further, sweep the right arm up and over the head, and come into this lateral stretch here. So reaching the right hip away from the fingertips, just extend, free up space. Again, concentration on pulling abdomen back on exhalation. And now we're going to open up that chest again. So squeeze the right shoulder blade in and down the back. Rotate the navel to the right. So heart is opening, chest is opening. Look up at the sky and feel that sweet release there. And pull up with the hand. Slowly make your way back into seated, sitting tall. Draw the navel in for support and just feel. We'll take the right hand down, lift the left arm up, and just repeat that on the other side. So fingertips reach away from left hip. Breathe here. Keep that pinky finger rotating down, head of the shoulder into its socket. Notice how long you can get that waist. Navel hugs back on exhalation. Two more. Now we're going to squeeze the left shoulder blade in and down the back, offering up that heart. Navel rotates to the left. Feel, where is there tension? Is it in that pec major, pec minor, that whole upper back, neck? Where are you holding it? Let it go. And then slowly come back up, pulling with that hand. Sit tall for a moment and just feel. Let everything settle back into place. Good, then we'll come into tabletop position. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, tops of the feet press firmly into the floor. Inhale, lift the heart, lift the sit bones, look up. Exhale, stay in tabletop, push down to hands, knees, and feet, and round the back, tailbone down, head and neck releases. Inhale, look up, heart lifts, sit bones lift. Exhale, push down into hands, knees, and feet, release the crown of the head and tailbone. And keep going, inhaling, exhaling. And in many ways, this is that same movement we were doing in the neck when we were in a seated position, forward and back. And then now as we come into that forward position, we are countering gravity, which really begins to build the muscles in the upper neck. Or the back of the neck, rather, sorry. Again, one more. And then return to neutral. Bring your elbows down into the mat. Wrap the hands around the middle part of the arms. Interlace your fingers and either press the forearms down or spread the palms wide with the forearms parallel. Tuck your back toes under. Lift your sit bones up and back. And come into dolphin variation of down dog. So this forearm down dog is really nice for any kind of tension we have in that upper back. It really opens it up. You can feel it spreading wide. Head and neck is releasing. And then if you need to pedal your feet here in any way, bend one knee and press the other heel down. And then go back and forth a few times. And then find your feet hip distance apart, toes turned in slightly, heels out. Roll the inner thighs in and back. Allow the sit bones to spread. Now in the upper body, you really have the position holding that upper back nice and open, but you can press down firmly through the web of the index and thumb. Make sure the head and neck is relaxed here. You're not holding any tension there. Lift the sit bones high. Keep hugging that navel in and up under the rib cage. One more breath here. And then bring knees to floor. Sit tall on your heels. Just rest your hands comfortably for a moment in your lap. Heart is open here. We're going to place our fingertips behind us, pointing them towards the toes. press down into the palms and open up the heart. And then really feel that stretch through the sternum, again, through those pec major minor muscles, tops of the shoulders. And now you can lean the head back a little bit, but don't drop the head back. So again, still keep about 2 fingers at the base of the skull. Absorb the tailbone in, slide the glutes under the heels just a little more. One more full breath here. And then slowly pull up with your sternum, sit tall again on your heels, and just rest. And if you've been carrying tension there, notice that feeling of release. Good. Back into tabletop position. Inhale, heart lift, sit bones lift as you look up. And exhale this time, we'll tuck the toes and find downward facing dog. So feet hip distance apart, toes in slightly, heels out, just like that forearm down dog. Internal rotation of the thighs. Strong quads, lift the tailbone high. Navel hugs in and up. Roll shoulder heads away from the ears. Squeeze the inner elbows toward one another and press firmly through the web of the index and thumb. Now letting your head and neck get heavy, creating some traction for the spine. Again, freeing up that tension, that gripping. And the more we lift the pelvic floor and engage the navel in and up, the more we're supporting that lower lumbar spine. So when the neck is off, everything is off. Just like when the lower lumbar is off, everything is off above it. So we want to do our best to engage the muscles that will create the support we need. When you finish here, come onto the balls of your feet, bend your knees, look at your hands, step forward to your fingertips, and open your feet hip distance apart. Come into standing forward fold. So again, to build strength in that back of the neck and upper back, you can either hook the index middle thumb around your big toe or have your hands on your shins. On your inhale, pull away. Straighten the arms, straighten the spine as best as you can, straighten the legs, and then exhale, bend knees, bend elbows, relax head and neck. Repeat that again. Inhale, pull away. So half forward fold, and you're really lifting and engaging those extensor muscles in the back body. Exhale, fold. Inhale, pull away. Exhale, fold. Three more. So even when you're forward folding, you're still drawing that navel in and up. That's allowing the forward fold to be deeper as well as supported. Last one. And now this time we'll just stay. So you can stay in any way you want. You can keep that bind on the toes, bending the elbows and drawing the crown a little closer towards the earth. Make sure that you're not leaning too far back in the heel, and you're not just pressing to the outer foot either and collapsing. You want to make sure you have that pressure on the inner foot. Grow heavy through the head and neck. Let the gravity take the crown of the head and create that natural traction for the spine. And then pull the tips of the shoulder blades just slightly down the back. Just that slight engagement sends the heart forward. Now 2 more breaths here. And when you finish that last one, you're going to gently release and bring your hands to your hips, bend your knees, scoop your heart as you press into the feet to come up to standing, and then roll shoulders up and back. Just free them up and find standing mountain pose. Feet are parallel. Find that stability. Press into the big toe. Lift the outside arch of the foot. Breathe deeply here. Good. Freeing up some shoulder space. You're just going to swing your arms forward and back and just release the tops of the shoulder heads, bringing some mobility into the joints, forward and back, forward and back. And then you can bring fists in between. So you go forward, make a fist pump, and then go back, forward fist pump, and go back. And do that a few times. This opens the chest just a little bit more. One more here. And then bring the fingertips onto the crowns of the head, the fingertips onto the shoulder heads, and start to make circles here, big full circles with the elbows. And then go in the other direction. And then one more in that forward direction where the elbows go back. And release. Just feel some warmth and prana moving through the arms. Good. Back at the front of your mat. Big toes touching, space between the heels. Inhale the arms forward and up. Exhale, forward fold. So we're going to step that right leg back. And if you want some padding under your knee, just flip your mat over. Lower that knee down. Inhale the arms up for low lunge. And then we're going to exhale, bend deeper into the lunge and bend the elbows like goalpost arms and sink into this lunge. And then inhale, come back off the lunge, tailbone absorbs in, lower belly lifts, arms stretch. Exhale, bend into the front knee, bend the elbows, let the heart come forward, gazes up. Inhale, stretch up. Tailbone absorbs in, lower belly lifts. Exhale, bend. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bend. Inhale, reach. And last one. Now bring your fingertips to the floor. Release your back knee so you're high in high lunge position. And you can either stay here with your fingers in a finger stand. You can extend your arms out wide, spreading the fingers, opening up space in the back of the shoulders. Or if you prefer here, yoga mudra, drawing the knuckles down the back, opening up and spreading the chest. So whatever position is better for you, you're just going to stay firm, shin bone pressing away from back heel. Hips are level, and you're not sinking in the hips, but you're also not backing off of them. It's this beautiful balance between those two, keeping that pelvic floor core engaged. One more breath here. And then fingertips to the floor. Step the back foot forward, standing forward fold, just let go. Let all that warmth release through the back of the leg, through the spine, allowing the traction of the heaviness of the head. One more here. And then we'll step your left leg back. Use your mat if you need that extra padding, flipping it over. Inhale up for low lunge. Okay, so as you exhale, sink into the lunge, bend the elbows into goalpost arms, open up. Inhale, come off of it, tailbone absorbs in, lower belly lifts. Exhale, bend. Inhale up. Exhale, bend. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale. Last one. Good. Fingertips to the floor. You're going to release the mat, release your back leg, stay high on the ball of the back foot. Now you can have the fingers in a finger stand. And just keep the load light on them as you push shin bone away from back heel and squeeze those inner thighs. You can extend the arms out wide if that feels good for your upper back to just spread open the shoulder blades and release that tension. Or yoga mudra. Pull those knuckles down the back. Open up the chest. Whatever position you're in, again, knee in alignment with the ankle, shin bones pressing forward and away from back heel. Firm up the legs, lift the pelvic floor, navel is in. Two more breaths. Squeeze those inner thighs. And gently release, bring the fingertips down, step the back foot forward, see if you can let go just a little bit more here in the forward fold. Make sure you don't sink in the heels, so come forward in the balls of the feet, and again, check that inner foot. We have a tendency to back off the inner foot, lift the outer arch as well. Head and neck is heavy, navel hugs in and up. One more here. Now, bring your feet so that your big toes are touching. There's a space between your heels. Bend your knees deeply so fingertips can be your measuring point here. And then you're going to push your hands together into prayer and scoop them forward and up and stay in a low chair. And just work on squeezing those hands toward one another, pressing the outer hand in, opening and widening the upper back, gaze is up at the hands. So it's a back bend, but you feel the sit bones sinking just a little bit more, and then see if you can pull in the navel. So as the navel and pelvic floor draw in and up, can you open up the chest just a little bit more? One more breath here. And then inhale, straighten the legs, and exhale, standing mountain pose. And just observe the warmth, breathe into it. One more here. So we're at the front of our mats, hands to hips, step your right leg back. We're going to come into triangle pose. So about 3.5 feet, front heels lined up with the arch of the back foot, press into the ball of the front foot. You can lift the toes if you'd like, press to the outside edge of the back foot. Inhale the arms long. Exhale, lengthen over that front leg as far as you can go, sending your hips back, creating space, and then take the hand to the shin, ankle, foot, or floor, whatever is the best position for you. You can always use a block if you need to bring the floor up to you. Navel rotates to the right, gaze up at the right hand. Breathe here. Now we're nice and steady, pushing into the feet. The more we anchor down, the lighter the upper body gets. And you can just stay in this traditional position, or you can turn the hand like you're turning a doorknob, take it behind your back and bind. So either hand on the sacrum or grab and reach around for the front of your left thigh. And you're going to opening up that shoulder, opening up the chest. Make space in the joints, don't sink into them. One more here. Now reach and release the right arm back up in the air, press into the feet and rise up into standing. Turn your toes in for just a moment, hands to hips to rest. And we'll switch sides. So now just turn your right toes out. Heel to arch alignment. Press into the ball of the front foot. Press to the outside edge of the back foot. Inhale the arms long. Exhale, this time you're lengthening over that right leg as far as you can go, like someone's pulling your arm, and then hand to the shin, ankle, foot, or floor, your choice, left arm lifts. Gaze is traditionally up at the hand. If it bothers your neck, look neutral. But breathe here. And the more you anchor into the legs and feet, the more spacious you get in that upper body. Lean back with the navel, lean back with the chest. Ujjayi breathing. And then if you want to turn the hand and bind, you can take it onto the sacrum or wiggle it there between the low rib and the thigh. Pull that left shoulder open. One more full breath. Just enjoy it. And you can release the arm back up like someone's pulling that hand. Slowly come back up into standing. Turn your toes in. Settle in the center for just a minute. Hands to hips. And rest. Lengthen the tailbone away from the back of the neck so that the crown is lifting. Come the way back, rest of the way back to the center. Standing mountain pose, and now do full arm circles with the shoulders. Full rotations, all the way back. Just keeping that warmth in that upper back area where we want to work. And then let the arms just settle and find standing mountain pose. Notice where you're feeling the warmth in the body. Come back to the front of your mat. We're going to take a sun salutation to the floor. Big toes are touching, space between the heels, hands together in front of the heart. Inhale, the arms reach up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway to monkey pose, flat back. Exhale, step or lightly hop back to plank position. And we haven't done a full vinyasa, so you can bring knees to floor if you'd like. Squeeze the elbows tight into your side. Modified chaturanga till the belly comes down, tops of the feet ground. Inhale, elbows and shoulders pull back, cobra. We're going to stay here. Exhale, turn your cheek to one side and come down. Inhale, cobra again. Press into pubic bone, knees and feet. Exhale, come down. Again, inhale. Exhale, keep alternating your cheek. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, one more. And now rest. And we'll rest in Makrasana, which is crocodile. So turn your toes out, heels in, cross your forearms, let your forehead rest on the forearms, and belly's going to breathe into the earth. And now truly let go. Begin to slow that breath back down. And gently release the feet back to about 4 to 6 inches apart. Place your hands beside your body, forehead into the mat. And we're going to do some locust pose. So inhale, come up. Everything that can lift up off the earth will. So you're pushing the fingertips towards the heels, reaching the crown of the head away from the toes. And exhale, come down again. We're doing it dynamically. Inhale, come up. Reach the fingertips like you could touch your heels. Exhale, come down. Inhale, reach. Exhale, down. Inhale, reach, and now stay. And we're going to keep creating space. So anchoring in that pubic bone, reach crown away from feet, but feel all those extensors working, all those postural muscles. Breathe here. Lift a little higher. Inhale and exhale, come down. Turn your cheek to one side and rest. Breathe into your kidneys. Turn your cheek to the other side and rest. One more here. And then roll onto your back. Let your legs and arms be long, and then inhale, just come into a good morning stretch. So if you want to interlace your fingers and push your palms away and reach the toes as far away from the hands as possible. And then we're going to lift the right leg up in the air, hook the index middle thumb around the big toe. If that's not possible, hold on to the ankle or the calf. Left hand's going to rest on top of the thigh. On your next exhale, you're going to lift your upper torso off the floor, reaching your fingertips towards your toes. So the more you engage the core, the more you reach, the higher those shoulder blades come off the floor. Breathe here. And gently release. Release the foot. Slowly take that leg down to the floor. Rest for just a moment. Notice any differences between right and left sides. And now left leg's going to come up. Hook the index middle thumb around the big toe. And on your exhale, reach that right arm and hand down that right thigh as if you could touch your toes. Contracting the abdomen. The more you work the core, the higher you'll get. Breathe here. And then gently release head and neck. Release the foot. Slowly take it down. And just rest for a moment. Tuck the shoulder blades underneath you. And just settle onto your back. Bend your knees. See if you can lightly touch your heels with your fingertips. And have the feet parallel, arms down by your side. You're going to grab onto the outside edges of your mat and roll your inner elbows up towards the ceiling. And we're going to take that a little bit further once we lift. So on your next inhale, press down into the feet, and one vertebrae at a time, roll up your spine, and we'll stay. So once you do, you're keeping those inner elbows rotating up towards the ceiling. Now tuck one shoulder blade and then the other underneath you, and press down deeply into the feet. Now, as you press into the feet, can you relax the glutes a little bit, but still keep that lift in the upper body? And really important here that you lift your chin, feeling that natural curve there for the cervical spine, but this beautiful stretch for the chest, upper back, shoulders, so much getting worked here. Breathe deeply. One of my favorite back bends, so stable, and yet we get so much space. Keep checking in with the glutes. They like to contract here. So there's a little activity, but not a squeezing or we're cutting off the flow of prana. One more. And then rise onto the balls of the feet. Release your shoulder blades. And one vertebrae at a time, send your spine back down into the mat. And then have your feet a little wider than your hips, knees fall into one another, and just rest. One more breath. Good. We're going to do another back bend here. We're going to take the thumbs underneath the hips. Now, if you've got really long arms, that might feel more like they're underneath the lower upper thighs, but wherever your hands land, extend your legs long, and you're going to squeeze your forearms as close to your side bodies as possible. Hands are spread wide. So right away, we're getting some spaciousness here for the upper back and the chest. Now press out through the balls of the feet, spread the toes, and as you anchor down through the forearms, puff up the chest, And let just the crown of the head come down into the mat. And then spread the sternum, breathe deeply into that upper back. All the spaciousness in the chest and in the heart. Now if you want to bring in a little core, try lifting your legs. Breathe deeply. And then lower the legs down, lift the chest a little higher, release the head, and then slowly rest here on the mat. Everything settles. And then hug your knees into your chest. Give that nice deep stretch to the lower back. And yet the earth is fully supporting it. And now take the arms out wide into a T shape. Let the knees move over to the left as you look to your right. So we want to hold the knees in place, make sure the sacrum is stable, and then do bring in that cervical twist. So looking over that right shoulder, just completing that full rotation for the spine. Breathe here into any areas that still feel a little sensitive. We didn't do a lot of twisting in our practice today. Give in through the breath. Navel hugs the spine on exhalation. And then slowly return to center. Let the knees move to the right as you look to your left. Stack the knees, make sure you hold that with your hand. And now left arm opens up and see if you can look over with your gaze. Breathe deeply here. Keep drawing the navel back. And then slowly return to center. Extend the legs long, extend the arms down by your side. Shoulder blades tuck underneath you, heart is open. And just settle right into Shavasana. If you want to block the light with an eye pillow, placing that over your eyes or a soft piece of material, you can do that. And take just a few rounds here to watch the effortless rise and fall of the abdomen. No need to shape or control the breath in any way. And one of the great benefits of working with the cervical spine, upper back, we start to tap into part of the nervous system that helps us calm, especially in the neck area. So feel that sweet release, that peace and calm. So very slowly begin to deepen your breath. And notice the effortlessness that the breath comes into the body. And then you can move fingers and toes as the prana reaches them. And roll wrists, roll ankles. And eventually draw your knees back into your chest. Hug them there for just a moment. Once again, feeling the support of the earth against the spine. And then curl over onto your right side. Rest for a moment in fetal position. Arm under the head as a pillow. And then gently placing the hand down into the earth, slowly come back up into seated. Head and neck heavy, eyes closed as you come up. And sit with a tall spine and a relaxed body. And just take a moment to feel the spaciousness we've created in that upper back and neck. And the freedom from whatever heaviness we were carrying there. Whether it was physical, mental, emotional, or all of it. And then bring your hands to your heart into prayer position. And bow your head to your hands. And just go back to the intention that we set. Trust that you received what you could receive, letting the rest go. And we'll complete the practice with a chant of Om. Deep inhale in. Long exhale out. Another deep inhale in. Namaste.